Everybody, it's Patrick of the Pitch Deck with round 2 of the Battle Hardened in Pittsburgh. It's going to be Kano versus Tree Frog Dash. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, we are going second here. That's what we really want when it comes to pitch stacking matchups. But first off, you don't really know what kind of dash they're going to be. So at this point, it's just assuming that we're going to go in the Psycho plan. Hence, while we're not in on Tunic. But if you walk into the pitch stacking matchup, or at least you know it is, then just sideboard in Tunic. I don't really think you're going to need D-Reacts for Tree Frog. So he starts out with a Sigil here. Actually, he starts... He only does one, and then does Sigil. So, block 3, lesson is not that crazy important. And then he increases his life with Sigil, and then passes. And then from here, he passes, and then we just go with Brewing the Blazing. It's nice to get at the beginning. And we, of course, can't. I think maybe I should have locked with the Flare instead. That way we can Kano Blazing and Lesson at the same time. And then potentially ramp a little bit faster. So it's much less of an IP as well as getting faster. But we get rewarded for keeping the Flare. So we do Flare plus Snapback, which is the classic Kano line here. Keep him off some crazy heavy hands. Kind of mitigate a little bit of damage. So AB4. And then I believe he takes the 3 here. Or no, he AB2s it because it's, I think, 2 blues, yeah. It's already 2 cards given. We can just go ahead and arsenal the Epot. We block for 3. And then he sends... He does some type of loading here. And then sends in the Findel's Fighting Spirit, the yellow one for 6. We'll just block 3 here. Which is unfortunate. Our potions kind of game together. I think I should have prioritized these potions slightly different. I'm considering certain pots. I go with D-Pot. E-Pot pitch to Kano, and then put the energy potion from Arsenal into play. We see what's on top. We just see that it's a red flare with the E-Pot in hand. And then we'll just play the potion from Arsenal, and then this D-Pot comes in.
That's my action point on pass.
Now we draw up, we're going to be getting a little bit of a resource starved hand, but it's not too crazy.
Pistol for 2. Rack chamber go again. Close the chain.
And we block 1, and I think he just sets an item, which is fine.
Loading low chamber.
But I kind of want to make my stack slightly more beefy. Not sure if this was the correct play, but we can do the exact same thing with Flare Snapback and then just keep D-Pot in Arsenal for now. Which, I mean, there's 2 ways you can kind of like look at it as a long game or short game. Which in this, I already know now that I'm going to be going into this for pitch stacking and long matchups. So I'd rather have a flare into the stack kind of close nearby the blazing as well. So There's the consideration of just going for damage here, but like I said, I kind of want a little extra help. Right now it is blazing 2 blues, and now we're gonna put flare with another blue in there as well.
Shoot for 1. No flooding. I'll take 1.
So we see a singe off the top. We shoot it for the one that's floating. Go ahead and place the depot for the action point and put snapback in arsenal.
Yes. My turn.
I think I should have added an extra blue there to the blue count. So I should have been blazing blue, 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 then flare, I think, personally.
Yeah. Activate purifier. Yeah. Pistol for 3.
So he shoots a pistol for 3.
Yeah, nothing for me.
Loads a little bit, and then he sends... I think he sends an attack for 4.
I didn't hear what you said. Oh.
Yeah, so it's like kind of a blue attack. And I end up just blocking with one of the tomes. I can kind of clear out everything anyways, so it's fine. So we just shoot snapback for 4. And now we have a buffer card, which is tome, which is pretty good. And the stack will be blazing blue, blue, flare blue with blazing on top, and then the tome underneath. And it's always great to have some type of buffer in your pitch stack, whether it be gaze or tomes. You have 2 of them, which would be Tome of Findal or Tome of Aetherwind. Your deck is not necessarily going to give you all of the options for you to have a perfect pitch stack in your hand. Sometimes you're going to have like maybe 8 blues mixed together, and you just can't have them all together with a pitch stack, because maybe your beginning pitch stack is nice, but it doesn't turn out that way later on.
Play purifier. Yes, man. Pass is good.
So he just passes. It's on to our turn, so we just shoot lesson for 4.
Yeah. No extra point.
Go ahead and Kano, keep the card on top. And yes, I am counting. Sometimes you lose count, but this one wasn't too bad to keep count.
Yes.
Now we have double wildfire, which isn't crazy. But it does match up with our tome and 2 blues that we just pitched. So we kind of lucked out. Especially with the Tome of Findal in our arsenal as well. And at this point, you really just need to realize how much pitch stacking you need to do, and then go from there on the memorization. Right now, after the 2 wildfires, I'm already done. Like, I'm not trying to remember anything else, because I really don't need that much when it comes to 2 wildfires and 2 blazings. So we get boom out of our hand. Not too crazy, especially tree frog. So it's just block fodder right now, because you can't even use it in your stack, meaning that you don't want to pitch it. It's just a nice little block hand right there.
Yeah, take one.
And again, you're just on the thought that you may go up against normal dash or OG dash And they usually just bring AB3. And you just crucible. Have a high roll. Here we're gonna gain some life. We took 5 to get this life back, so we're just gonna gain that 4 back because we blocked cleanly from the last one. So in reality, we only took 1 damage off that attack.
No.
Now we've got 2 floating from the blue. Double lessons. So double lessons isn't what you want to see here. So we just go with a Kano with 1 floating, and I think I kind of messed it up slightly here. In terms of making it a better pitch in terms of certain things. But yeah, we do have a Sonic Boom, and again, like I said, it's not great to play, but it's something to strip cards out of his hands. I'm considering the crew here, and what I should have done was I should have crewed, and then I should have overpitched with a Wildfire and a Lessons to have 1 floating. That way, I can probably arsenal this other Wildfire, but I end up just sending it for 3 with 1 float. And now it's slightly awkward. Only because to not OP myself and put these 2 in stack, because this is the first 2 Wildfires that we see. You want them as close to the stack as possible. I'm gonna have to just Kano here, which is fine. It's fine. We don't want to lock our arsenal anyways. Maybe it's not as great to go ahead and do that this early. And I can probably get a little bit further by just banishing. And then going from that to just getting the random card out of the way. So yeah, that's what we do right now. So we end up just Kanoing with 1 resource and the 2 Wildfires. Now the stack is blazing blue, flare blue with a blazing tome blue, wildfire, lesson blue. So currently I'm tracking the Wildfires and the blazings are together, which is pretty nice. That's what you want in the end game. And now my stack is completely fine. I don't need anything else in it. I can just go as kind of like far as possible, like trying to survive and kind of ramp towards my pitch stack. Like I don't even need this other blazing ether. I can literally pitch it if I want to. Go ahead, and it's going to our turn because he probably set up an item, I think. So we see a 1 cost and a 2 cost, which is not bad. We can just cleanly get this into 1 damage and then 2 damage, but he ends up taking 1, and then we can just go from there to sending 3. So a nice little 4 damage buffer, but he's been tossing out some Sigils of Solace, which is helping clean the gap up for some damage that he might take like this.
And then 3. Yeah. No floating.
But it's still a fine arsenal target, even if I want to just go ahead and put this in there. And I think that's our only Alma Findle that we've seen so far. And then I didn't put Toma Findel, the 3rd copy, into this because it's, I thought, an aggro matchup. So we see another tome, which would have been nice to know about it later on, because that's also a fine arsenal target later on down the line. You can just use it for resources. You can just go ahead and block, save some life. Or, well, at least save as much life as you can. Take 1, basically, at this point. Now he's down to 4 for the attack. I want to say now it's 2 purifiers, so... We can start safely blocking. Yeah, it's fine to just block with a gaze. And at this point, we can try to ramp through our deck faster now. Again, we have our pitch deck. So this is what I'm going to consider is go ahead and playing the Tome of Aetherwind. Just double check my graveyard real quick. We go ahead and draw 2 cards. And we see 2 blues, which is fantastic. What we want. Paint off the top. And we see a red spindle, which is even more fantastic, which means we are winning this uber race of turbo stacking here.
No floating.
We get 5 cards deeper, 6 cards deeper into our pitch deck alone by preserving 9 life on the opponent's turn and then accelerating 6 cards deeper. As we draw 2 cards, pitch 2 cards, and then we see 1 on the top, so maybe 4 cards. Yeah, so maybe not as bad, but it's still pretty good. We got a wildfire spindle, couple blues here. We can't really do anything with this because we know both of our blazings are in the stack that we already have, and not to mention we have it'll be a hard time to get through the AB4 because he's not gonna have shields down no matter what. And here, I actually think I blocked with the wrong card. I should have blocked with Aether Wildfire instead. And I think that was a better option than blocking with Spindle. So reverse the reds, and I think we're sitting good. First D-pot's nice. We've already got it down. We don't need this other D-pot. So we're going to just save some life, block for 3, and go from there. Like I said, I think the red spindle helps us dig us faster, 1 card faster and 1 more damage, which is slightly better. We'll go ahead and send this wildfire for 5. Yeah, because like this is just vanilla damage. It doesn't get us anywhere with it, but he does end up AB4ing it, taking 1. Oh, just a little bit of a min-max there. I wasn't thinking.
Yeah, 34, yeah.
I was probably expecting more of a
Or that isn't that good.
broader turn, and I can just play the pot for my action point and go from there. But I had already stripped some cards with wildfire from the last spindle, so I think that was a better guess just to say 2 blocks for 2 attacks and then roll into the spindle.
Pitchlet pistol.
Yeah.
Loaded chamber.
Chamber, yep.
Load another chamber.
The chamber's good.
Pistol for 2.
So here we're gonna get some pistol action for us,
I'll take 2.
Reaction chamber go again.
but it's
Yeah.
minute, I think, because at this point it's just 2.
16.
Pitch 1, load chamber.
Yes.
Load a pistol.
Yeah. Yeah, my response.
And now we just want to see if we can't peek on the top here, because it's got a little bit of a opportunity for us to see what's going on. So we get rewarded with a Tome of Find Owl. I plus another blue. Really, really good for us. We'll be able to accelerate pretty good for our stack.
Opting 2 for this Kano here.
Getting a pot's pretty good, I think. So from there we can just bottom one, and then play the potion off the eye banish.
And then let it resolve for that Kano. Kano again.
You see a blue spindle, which isn't bad because we just have 2 floating, and I consider going with the crew here. We'll just shoot,
Two floating, so I'm just gonna shoot this for 2.
and we get rewarded. He doesn't
Taking 2.
want to AB it, so we take 2 damage, again furthering us into the pitch stack, which we are right there at the pitch stack, so it helps us out pretty much because the last card before the pitch stack is a red spindle, so we can kind of organize it how we wanted it, and I think it would have been basically better for us to put the blue that we had pitched earlier into the blues that are grouped with the blazing. So here we pitch, and then we just go ahead and crew for 5.
Coming in for 5.
So he takes the 5, which is good for us. A little bit more damage,
27, right?
and we can fix our opt here. But like I said, we see 2 blues with the blazing, along with another blazing, or another blue plus the flare. So I consider putting the flare down to the bottom because we don't need that flare. We just need the blue that comes with our hand next turn. So that way we can roll right into blazing and tone blue, and then right into our wildfires. That's how I get it to stack up after we see the opt.
Yeah, but like when I've done it before, where I hardboard and then did it.
So he goes with Sigil. We're gonna go ahead and heal up again.
It was, yeah, but also like at the end of that game, I
And then plays Purifier, 1 float, 2 cards.
Response from Purifier.
So he passes here, and we debate on what we gotta do for our pitch stack. So I think it's pretty much go time. We start off. Get blazing. Draw 2. At that point, the blazing was already free, so basically we just get back our hand of blues. Wildfire. We see another wildfire. We know it was there. And then the 2 lessons. So here I think it was a bit of a min-max. We have crew coming in, and then we would rags. But we have a depot. We don't use it. So we know lessons there. So to maximize the resources, we need to depot the blues back on because we're not using the lessons. But just getting 1 extra resource would have been better. We could have gotten 5 resources out of it. Instead of, not really 5 resources, but 2 resources, the red turning into a blue. But we'd have had 5, meaning the 2 floating and then the blue in our hand. So here we're going to go with our crew.
Crew's already there.
And then wildfire for 6, but I need to keep in mind, because especially since this dash is on Tunic and it's tree fog, it's generally wise to play the very first one for 4 and then play the second one for 6 or whatever. Basically, don't use Crucible of Aetherweave Staff on the first one, just use it on the second one. And even if they don't have Oasis, it's not the end of the world. It still kills. So he messes up here slightly because he's already pitching for AB as well as the Oasis, which got confusing whenever we were coming back to it. I wasn't really tracking everything, so he basically has one floating right now with a blue. So he has one floating, and on the stack for the Oasis, I am buffing this other one, so he just AB1s without the wildfire, and we leave it to where there's one floating.
27.
So here we hit it for 3 out of the 4, and then he wants to double check it, and then it's already pumping this one here now. So he kind of messes up a little bit on the order of everything, but it works out for the most damage, because if it's supposed to work the way that I needed it to work, then it would have taken the least amount of damage, but we still kill. So he kind of like incorrectly gets it wrong with the A being already, and he already had one floating. So he said he had AB2 already, the one that comes in.
I had 2 to pay for 6, so it was gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I guess you did that first, so I would have had 2 floating. But...
Yeah, so like 3, and then you had no floating after this one, correct? Or did you just only...
Because when he played the Oasis, he was already in the mindset of using 2 AB on it for a total of 6.
Because this one first. Yeah.
So I would have 2 still.
Which basically he should have just had the one floating and played the Oasis in reality, and then have a blue for the other one.
I'm at 6 here.
So 6. Yeah.
Which is fine, because 3 damage from both is just going to be lethal. Between 2 blazings, it's going to be 12 and 24.
9, yeah, so I figured
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 minus 6. I should take 3 from both of them.
24. 1. No floating Kano.
Okay.
Blazing.
Yeah.
6.
So we do quick math, and then we also have another one in Arsenal. But I think I could have...
So, yeah, so
Yeah.
this is coming in for...
I think you're just verifying math really quick.
Taking 3 and 3, so it doubles it.
That it's going to be 6 and 6.
For 6 plus 6.
Yeah, so 12, 20, 24.
Yeah, you got it.
And then, yeah, there was another one here.
Oh, jeez, okay, yeah.
Alright, GG's. That's a pitch stack for Tree Frog Dash.